I first started working with this client in the late summer of 2016, and she was really struggling with fatigue, depression, and very, very heavy menstrual cycles. Heavy bleeding that would exhaust her and just make it very difficult to live and work and do anything practical. She said she was struggling with general depression, anxiety, high stress, and heightened emotions, work stress, and symptoms of fatigue. Her iron count was a little bit low at this time, but not in the range where they recommended treatment, and was really having very intense PMS symptoms as well: headaches, cramping, back pain, irritability, heightened emotions, and then very heavy flow. The way that we look at a case like this in Chinese medicine is they look at the whole person, every single body system, and how the frequent emotions that come up, the kinds of things that the person thinks about. It all reflects the whole. And any kind of rebuilding process like this can be pretty slow. So we worked on lifestyle things and making sure that she's taking good care of herself. Our blood can become depleted also when we're giving too much of ourselves away, emotionally. So we were trying to kind of stop the leaking of emotional energy at the same time that we were using the herbs and food to help rebuild and restore her. And it took about a month and a half before she reported any improvement, and it was very mild. The first thing that she noticed was that she didn't have very intense PMS symptoms, that even though she still felt tired and her bleeding was still quite heavy, she didn't go through that same cycle of struggle right before her period came. So I knew we were on the right track. Very slowly, she started to report things getting better, as the weeks and months progressed. She talked about being able to focus better, and I could see a difference as we would talk with each other. She was more present. It was like there was more of her there when we were talking, and she wouldn't quite so easily space out or lose her train of thought. Still, the bleeding was pretty heavy and she was still depleted. And so I was like, okay, well, we're gonna just kind of keep working on this slowly. And after some time went by, she went to the doctor and actually found that her iron count had dropped significantly enough that her doctor recommended an IV iron infusion. And this was going to be like $1,000 treatment out of pocket. And she was so overwhelmed and upset, as I really understand, like the medical bills and situations like this, and feeling torn between wanting to give her body what it needed, but also feeling like I can't just spend $1,000 on a single treatment, out of pocket. In cases like this, where there's something pretty urgent that we have to address, but there is a strong reason to try an herbal approach. In this case, the biggest reason was it would be much, much, much less expensive if we could solve this problem with herbs than if she had to do the iron infusion. In a case like this, I want to put boundaries around how long we're going to give it to make sure that we don't let this problem languish if the herbal approach doesn't work. So I said, let's put a boundary around this of about 3 to 4 weeks. And if we don't see that things are getting better, then you might have to address it in this other way. But let's just pull out all the stops and do everything that we can. So I changed and modified her formula to make it even stronger in terms of that blood tonifying action. I removed some of the other herbs that had been helping with the more PMS aspect of the pattern, since we had gotten through that and pumped up the volume on the blood tonification. And then in addition, I had her use a syrup preparation. So you've probably seen or heard of these. There are a lot of them on the market, like I don't want to say brand names, but it's a plant-based syrup, food-like, very high iron, supplement, like high non-heme iron, and that she was supposed to take 2 tablespoons of it twice a day, along with her herbs, and then continue to rest and nourish herself. It's hard. It's a little hard to take that much stuff every day, herbs and syrup and all of this, but she did it. She was very motivated. And we had great success. She was able to avoid needing to have that iron infusion, so yay. It's always nice to be able to not need to spend that kind of money. And what has happened since that time, she hasn't gotten back into a crisis point like that. And it continues to be sort of a slow and steady growth and building for her of her vitality. And yet there is, I don't think that she would say today that she's depressed or exhausted or any of these things. But there is still that dance going on as she works on the emotional patterns and the lifestyle patterns that led her toward that depletion in the first place. She's continuing to dance with it, and the herbs are supporting her. And that is, to me, that is just as much of a success story as when somebody completely overcomes their issue and they don't have to think about it again. So I work with a lot of clients who have PMS, PMDD, menstrual just challenges and discomfort and messed up cycles and heavy cycles. And an herbal approach is not for everybody. And it really depends on what your unique situation is, and that you have checked out all of your other options, and that we can make a decision about what's really the right path for you. So if you would like to learn more about how I work, and if you're interested in talking to see if maybe we would be a good fit to work together, you can find more information at psycheandsoma.com, and I'll place the link down below, I guess, down there. I'll place the link down below so that you can book an initial appointment. The first step for us in working together would be for us to meet and for me to complete an assessment looking at your tongue. Actually, it's pretty weird and fun, and the insights from the tongue are pretty mind-blowing. So we start there, and then I will be able to give you a sense of whether or not herbal medicine is appropriate for your situation, and if so, what our work together might look like, so that you can make an informed and fully supported decision.